Welcome to the GoldTech Retail Manager Home Office Overview. Let's get started. First, I'll bring up the application. We are using the cloud version today, but it is exactly the same as the on-premises installed version. So we'll get logged in. I'm going to minimize the virtual printer because we don't need to use it. On the left-hand side are all the menus that you normally would see for the home office. They're very similar in the back office. There's just different things you can do within each one. Under daily operations, you can browse transactions, you can view the store and register status to see what's up. You can go under inventory, and this is where you define your new items, set the base pricing, UPCs, classes for them. This is also where you define vendors, and you can do vendor imports. You can do receiving, purchasing, set up inventory transaction, define your warehouses. You can manage your warehouses. What are you going to have where? On the top, if you'll notice, all the navigation buttons became active once we did that. If I maximize it, I can tell it to go to the bottom. I can tell it to go back to the top. You can delete, edit, insert. Also the buttons down here on the bottom. Also, in all situations, you can right click and bring up the menu of what you can do. You can change the layout of the screen by going into here. That's going to be in another video. This is also where you define matrix categories. That's really more for clothing, your units of measure, everything to do with your inventory. Under the customers, this is where you can add, change, and delete customers. You can also do this in the back office application. It looks the same. And you can also add customers at the register itself. This is where you define loyalty card programs, gift card programs. You can have multiple of each active at any given time, as many as you want. Under employees, this is where you set up employees. This is where you do the security users, security groups, transfer them from store to store. Also browse the audit history to see what areas people have gone into. As of today, you can see where I browse the audit history twice. Under pricing, this is where you define your promotions. This would be price books and price methods, coupon types, but these are the price books. Think of them as that's the kind of thing to set up a promotion hours, minutes, weeks, months in advance. It's up to you. That will be explained in another video because that's a very in-depth area. Reports. This is all the built-in reports for the system. It's everything from inventory, purchasing, receiving, sales reports for all sorts of analysis. Associates. What are your cashiers doing? Comparing them to each other. Customer reports, customer mailing labels. This is also where you can look at your gift card valuation, so you can find out what is your liability out in gift cards at any given time for any point in time. Taxes. What did you collect in sales tax? So you can determine what you need to pay the state. System reports. This is transaction audit, sales exceptions, returns exceptions. This shows any time that has occurred. And then the security overrides audit report, which lets you look at any time there was a security override to do something, who did it and who was needing the override. Last is some miscellaneous reports. Everything from the cash out summary for the cashiers for any store at any time, tenders received, and donations if you're tracking donations. Next, we go to store chain setup. This is where you can define everything from your address to adding stores to regions. If you have numerous stores, you might want to group them by regions and then zones within that. And then edit the stores, change their address. Departments, if you want to group everything in your stores by department, such as department, subdepartment, class, subclass. Also, this would include being able to define your products under whatever grouping you would like. Tax areas and tax authorities is where you define sales tax. Discounts is where you would put manual discounts in that are available to the cashiers to be able to apply to a transaction for the customer while they're ringing the sale. Last is the configuration. Under configure, this is where you set everything up in the system as far as how it looks, setting up backgrounds if you have second customer display, turning things on and off that you may or may not want to use. This is also where you define your what we call the forms. This is the receipt details, everything to print on the receipt, so you can customize the receipt in any way you need. Also defining product buttons that can, for the SKUs, that can be on the right-hand side of the register, so the cashiers can press the button for something that you do not have barcoded. Also currency types and exchange rates. If you have stores close to a border and you're taking both sides currencies, for example, the US and Canadian border, and it may be Canadian store and you're taking US dollars or vice versa. That is the overview of the GoldTech Retail Manager Home Office. Look forward to talking with you in the next video.